What's going on, guys? In this video, I want to talk about creative output and how we are approaching all of our content sourcing, as well as how that is then passed down throughout the chain to create final ads. Okay. Very first thing I want to touch base on, and there's multiple ways to source content before we turn it into an ad. There's multiple ways we can source it. We can either get somebody else to create it for us, or we can create it ourselves. So let's start and break these down. So if we're getting somebody else to create it for us, we're either going to be paying a creator, right? Typically on like a platform like Incense or Influee, or I think is Billo another one. There's multiple different platforms that you can create campaigns and have creators submit applications, and then you can exchange money in exchange for content, right? This is obviously one method, okay? And I want to dive into this one method a little bit, provide a little bit of how we approach this, and then we'll dive into the other method of getting people to create content for you for free. So this method here, which is utilizing a platform where you get creators, is going to be honestly about 30% of the time you're going to have a really like a good creator. 70% of the time they're going to be like mid, kind of in general. That's based off of my experience with it. Okay. The way that I like to approach this is by having ahead of time, by knowing ahead of time what I want to source. Okay. So if you want to have consistent content coming in, you have to know what content do I need consistently in order to produce high quality ads, right? This will typically break into two main sections, I would say. B-roll, which can be product showcase, just the creator filming, showing the product being used, or unboxing. These would all fall under the characteristics of B-roll. That's just footage that can play and be used in many different ads. This is the main type of footage that we source from our creators because it can be used the most. Apart from that, you're going to have voiceovers, whether these voiceovers are on camera or off camera. These are going to be a lot more hit or miss, just because if you're giving very specific instructions for a voiceover, unless the person is really, really good, quite literally an actor and able to act out this script in a very fluid manner, it could sound forced, right? So my biggest tip here is going to be for these paid collaborations, giving a creator freedom to put their own personality into it, allowing them to create the content if they were organically creating the content, and kind of following some tips and some specific things that you would like to have them say. Now, what those might be, those are going to apply directly to the purpose of the content that you're sourcing. And I'll give an example here. Let's just say that you're trying to get more pieces of content to objection handle, in my case, that the picture is going to come out looking exactly like the photo they submit. I might tell them one of the things that I want them to say is that it looks exactly like the photo I submit. You see what I'm saying? So like you can identify what are specific things that you need in your ads, and this is going to depend on where you are in building the content that you're building. What are you trying to put together? Are you trying to put together a voiceover that or a piece of content that's a UGC creator talking to the camera with B-roll playing? Great. Well, then you need the UGC creator in front of the camera talking while they're, and source the B-roll as well. Depending on what you're trying to source, it's going to depend how your the structure of your campaign looks like. Okay, so not every campaign is going to be the same. You can see this campaign here was film reaction to gift. We wanted people to literally record them gifting the product, so that's what it was. And what we do is we piece together, we identify what needs to get sourced, we put that together in a brief. Okay, let's go in here just so you guys can see how a brief looks like. Brief looks something like this, where we tell them, find someone you know would love to receive this necklace, gift them the necklace with their pet's face engraved on it, and film their reaction to receiving it. The stronger the emotion and to the reaction, crying, the better. So it has to be someone that truly loves their pet. Very simple. We give them examples of reactions. We tell them, to upload in high quality, blah, blah. This here was $40. Not that crazy of a budget to get a piece of reaction footage. So we're paying under $50 per submission. As you can see here, we hired 15 people to do this. We hired 15 people to do this, and you can see some of these are already complete. So let's go to the one that's complete, and you can see here it is.
Happy birthday! What is that? Your special memory awaits. Oh boy, that is so cute. I love it. Thank you. It's so beautiful.
Right. So some of them will be good. Some of them won't be good. That's kind of part of figuring it out. In terms of how you can, if they can shoot aesthetic, if they have aesthetic B-roll in their portfolio that you can see, that's kind of what I look for. I look for somebody who has kind of an eye, is creative. So that's a few more tips for finding creators here. Okay, I want to move forward just because I don't want this to be like an hour-long video. In terms of budgeting this, you want to put the budget per project. The project could be 10 pieces of B-roll. The project could be 50 pieces of B-roll. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be a voiceover and a couple pieces of B-roll. Depending on what you are sourcing is going to depend on what you price it at. As you saw, that was $40. Some of these were like $20. You see what I'm saying? Like this one we hired for $20 for a reaction. This one we paid $40 for reaction. This one we paid $20 for reaction. So depending on what you are sourcing is going to be depending on what you're paying. Typically, our projects are going to expect to pay anywhere from like here, $20 to $40 per like a reaction piece to a couple $100 for 10 pieces of B-roll, a couple photos, and some hooks, right? So that's how it's structured on the paid side. Okay, moving forward, micro-influencer seeding is another great way to get content. The way that we have this set up is we have consistently outreach from our team going out, anywhere from 50 pieces of 50 outreaches a week. I think plus minus somewhere around that range. And we typically land anywhere from like 5 to 10 exchanges a week where we exchange product in exchange for content. This is, again, documented in the Discord, in the sheet resources up here on the micro seeding sheet and tutorial. That's how we utilize it, okay? And then we go ahead and every single week have a consistent approach to it. I don't know why this thing just blew up and now won't get smaller. Nice. Okay. We have a consistent. We have a team member that's dedicated to outreaching every single week, and that results in, like I said, 5 to 10 actual partnerships happening where they post on their accounts. We try to do as many as we can, right? And this system can be built out where we do more outreaches, do it on different platforms as well. That can get you quite literally content for free where you're just telling people, hey, I want to give you a product. I would like your public opinion about it. That's a lever we pull. That gets content coming in all the time. You can be as specific or as unspecific as you would like. You can give them full control. You can also request things of them. Some people will agree. Some people will disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very much you have to try, and there's a percentage that's going to actually come back. Last but not least, in-house B-roll I think is really, really important, especially here in this time of the year. I spent an hour or so today shooting content in the really ghetto homemade studio thing back behind me. And that content's going to now be used to refresh our ads, to try to kickstart some things that have stopped working, to just bring new footage to our target demographic, which is super important. You don't have to overcomplicate it. I have a few videos talking about how to set something like this up. It's going to run you a couple $100 and it can really emphasize the quality of your marketing. That's pretty much free. It's the cheapest and kind of hits the highest quality in terms of content. Okay, cool. So I want to kind of pull back out a little bit. How should you guys approach this? Well, ask yourself, what do you need in order for your ads to convert? Are you missing some pieces of the puzzle? Okay, great. Let's just say you're missing some UGC reactions. All of your competitors have a piece of content that has a reaction to it. You don't. Okay, how do you source that? I would probably go the route of paying an influencer to, or not an influencer, sorry, a creator to create that piece of content. And or seeding has been really, really good for also just genuine reactions. It'll be hit or miss. You'll hit a certain percentage, and yeah, that's how I would approach sourcing what you're trying to get. Cool. In terms of how we approach structuring this every single month, we know ahead of time and we sit down and coordinate ahead of time what we're trying to get sourced. We have meetings with our team multiple times per week. One is like a strategy meeting, and then one is like a content meeting. Strategy meeting would be for ads that we're putting together in the future. Content meeting is for what are we needing to get sourced right now based off of the ads we're creating in the future. And that is then what we plan on sourcing. After we identify creators that work really well, after we identify micro influencers that work really well, we're 100% going to work with them again. So we'll typically reach out and we'll be like, hey, we love the previous work that you did. Would you be interested in another project together? We don't currently have any on retainer creators, if you will. Everything is on a per project basis. That's kind of been the best approach that we found for what we need, because we need different things, different times, at different times. It's not really yes, we always need new B-roll, but it's going to be slightly different depending on the times of the year. For example, during the summer, like beach B-roll; during the winter, now winter B-roll. So that's kind of, that's some thoughts there on how we pick and choose. We just look at the year. What are we creating content for next? After this Christmas push is going to be Valentine's. So during like about a month before, we're planning and sourcing the content that we're going to be scaling and running. At least a month to 2 months before we're starting to plan. So that's kind of how that looks like. Hopefully this is beneficial. I've been having some questions about how we approach our creative output specifically for sourcing content. In terms of how this is then passed to the team, it's pretty straightforward. Whenever new content comes in, whether that's new in-house content, content from Incense, or micro-influencer seeded content, it's literally stored inside of a Google Drive. And then that is passed along to the editing team. We ping everybody and we just let them know, hey, there's new content that comes in, send them a link, and now everybody's on the same page for the new content. Obviously, if there's specific content for specific ads, you then want to assign that specifically for that ad brief. And we have our lead editor approaching that. So those are my thoughts. I wanted to piece this together. That's what I got for you guys for right now. If you have any more specific questions about how we're approaching the creative output, there's already a bunch of resources, but if there's something missing that you can't find, feel free to ask. You guys have a good rest of your Monday, and let's crush this week.